Hello, YouTube. It's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Season 12, Episode 9. Actions speak louder than words. So we're just going to get on into it. The first couple I want to start actually is Asia and Maxwell. So last week, Asia and Maxwell just got into a fight over basically what they want. Or like Maxwell's tired of Asia's basically disrespecting that she's better. God's giving God's gift to the world and to men or whatever and stuff and everything. This episode we've seen them at a restaurant and they are still like just they're basically right now irritated with each other. Asia Maxwell told Asia asked Maxwell, like like I don't understand you. Like, what did you mean when you said in the car that this is like God's this is a sign that God's telling you we shouldn't be together? And Maxwell's like, well, first things first, you're raising your voice at me. You need to quit raising your voice at me right now because I'm just like tired of it. I told you to be respectful when it came to my parents, and you're not, and stuff and everything. And Asia's just like, you know what, Maxwell is just, this is not the Maxwell that I love. She feels like Maxwell's changing because he's getting like other outsiders' opinions on everything. Now, maybe okay, I'm gonna give Asia that one because maybe some things are produced, obviously, because if she's saying that he wasn't like this in the beginning, while they were talking before filming and stuff, then maybe this is probably the producers trying to egg a situation on. So I'm gonna give her a pass on that one and stuff. And and Asia told Maxwell, she's like, you need to be in this 100%. If you're not in this 100%, I will pack up. Me and my mom will pack up and go back to the U.S. And he was like, oh, you would do that to me right now? And she's like, yes, I would. And he starts laughing and stuff and everything. And she was like, baby, I need you 100%. And he was like, I love you, baby. But the thing is, this is different when you're in person. This is our first date in like 8 7 8 months and stuff. And we're spending that fighting basically. Like, do you think I want that and stuff? And she's like, okay, I'm sorry, but we got a lot to figure out, and we got a lot to figure out with this visa process basically. So she gets up and walks away for a little bit. She comes back. She comes back and cools down, and then they talk. They talk a little bit about the visa process. She said we're on our way, so they make up. Then she was like, "Okay, so we got to talk about what the pros and cons for the visa." So the pros of the K1 visa is that it's quick. We can refile. It's quick, and we can get accepted. But the con of that is that since he's already been rejected, we may spend a lot of money trying to get this K1 visa again, and just for it to be rejected, and that's not a good idea. So, excuse me. So the best bet of it is actually to still do the spousal visa. Now the spousal visa does take longer, but the thing is that it'll just be a little bit more convenient for them because if he comes to America, he would already have his green card. So with that being said, she's gonna have to get married in Nigeria. So once they figured out that she is actually going to get married there in Nigeria, he's excited to finally going to be able to call her his wife and everything. And, he's just excited about the idea of being married to Asia and stuff. So I hope it works. I hope it works out for them. I think a rumor has it that they did get married over there, but we'll see. But I I just still think that Asia needs to really just quit acting like she is just like, I don't know, just really entitled and really just she just feels like she can just like say and do anything, and like God is gonna bless her. She thinks everything that doesn't go right, and that she's gonna question God's timing. She's like, she'll be like, God, no, we're gonna have to pray about this. We're gonna have to fix this. No, no, you have to follow you have to do what God tells you to do. And sometimes, even I'm a Christian man, when God tells you to do, I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, God, the Lord told me to do this, and that." No, you told yourself to do that. God didn't tell you that. Sometimes people use God to cop out of things, and I actually did like a little sermon on that, like stop using God as a crutch and stuff and everything. Quit using taking advantage of God and having him just to cop out of things, because God gives you tests, and you have to follow. It's up to you to overcome that test and pass that test, because God's going to challenge you at times, and you're just going to give up, and you give up and cop out of it. Then you giving up on God. Just saying. I mean, I'm not trying to preach here, but I'm just saying, when don't use God as a crutch. So I just wish Asia would quit doing that. But yeah. Anyway, that was Asia and Maxwell. The next couple I want to talk is Katie and Joshua. So Katie and Josh, as we all know what happened in the last 2 episodes, Katie just had her birthday party, and she was just drunk out of her mind and trying to make out with everybody. This episode, she is hungover, not remembering much of anything. She asked Joshua, "Okay, so what happened last night? I do remember your conversation with that Ryan guy." And she's just like, we're about to get married and stuff. Like you can't keep doing this. And Katie was just like, that I'm scared I'm about to lose everybody that's close to me and stuff. And Josh is like, who cares about who's close to you? You're gonna lose me. Let's talk about us. Like, I don't care about everybody else. Let's talk about us. And that's Katie's mindset. She's more worried about everything else. She's even admitted that she has lost friends because of the way she's acting. I don't even know what her behavior is. And it's not OCD or Tourette's. It's just it's really uncomfortable. And a lot of people made this point for last week when she was doing this at the bar. She was like, you know what? When she was trying to make out with all of those guys, and the guys were like, no, Katie, stop, please stop, and stuff and everything. Imagine if this was the other way around. Imagine if a guy was doing it to girls. Everybody would be outraged and everything. So, I mean, this is one of those little double standard things, because if I had seen that in a bar, if in a club or something and everything, like, yeah, I agree. Someone said they would call the police on her. Yes, 100%. Call the police or escort her out, have her be removed, because that behavior is just not okay. And I don't understand why some people can get away with it, because, like, since she's a girl. But because, like I said, if it was a guy doing that, like, it would be a whole outrage and stuff and everything. Yeah, and I've seen this in the past, like, in high school, and some of my college days, that a girl is so obsessed over a guy that they do uncomfortable things in other people's presence and stuff and everything, even when the guy rejects them and stuff and everything. And I'm just like, if he just said no, and you keep going just because you're drunk, that's not cool, and it makes you uncomfortable. And then on the worst thing about it is, you're also doing it in front of somebody else that actually does like you. so. But Katie was just like, I'm scared I'm gonna lose Josh and everything, and they're about to get married and stuff and everything. But I really don't know what else to say with this and stuff. And I've been saying this the entire season. Josh has a lot of patience. He really has a lot of patience. So I mean, rumor has it that they did get married too, but this is just so weird and uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable behavior that Katie possesses. I mean, that's just my opinion on that. So that was Katie and Joshua. They only had one scene in this episode. The next couple I want to talk is Marissa and Edward. So this was interesting. So as we all know, they drove up to New York from Pennsylvania this last week because Marissa's finally going back to work. Based on how Marissa is, Edward is still, he's happy to be in New York. He didn't bring much. He didn't bring much. He didn't bring much money or much identification, but he's happy to be in New York. So they get to New York and they go to a restaurant. Before they go to the restaurant, Marissa was trying to show Edward, the Empire State Building, and he forgot the name of it and stuff and everything. It was kind of funny, and just showing basically how busy the lifestyle is in New York. So they go to a restaurant and. Marissa was just like, "How you liking New York?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm liking it so far." And she was like, "So what's wrong with you? Are you still like agitated, aggravated with me and stuff and everything?" And he was like, "Yes," because he feels like basically nothing he does is good enough for you. He's like, "I'm trying," and like. He made a valid point. Listen, you have everything, and I came from nothing. You have things that a lot of people dream that they wish and dream that they could have, and everything. And I just don't know if I can. And that's just a lot for me. I don't know if I can live up to that and everything. And without Marissa, she wasn't really comforting when he said that. Without saying, "Baby, I'm so sorry. I understand that this is a lot for you. I want to do better to try to make you feel comfortable." No, she's just like, "No, this is just how she is. I'm constantly have anxiety. I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly just want to make things right. And if you were a little bit more well prepared when you came here, I wouldn't have this much anxiety." I'm like, "No, don't turn that around on him. Do not turn that on him. She just has no." And then not only that, he asked her, "But you know what? I need time. I need time to figure this all out. I need time to know your dynamic and know everything, exactly what you're doing and do everything." And she was like, "But you know what? You want time, but I have not once seen you try to do anything to be successful in your life." And when she said that, I was just like, "Come on, man." Then why is she with him? Is she's just gonna put him down like that? I know this was like a nice little raunchy vacation love that she had with him, but why did she decided to go into a relationship with him and then get engaged to him, file a K-1 visa for him to come here? And if she's just gonna put him down like that and say that he hasn't done much to do anything to be successful, like, I can't stand people like that. That is one of my biggest pet peeves when people do that. They talk down on somebody just because they're not on their level of success and stuff. I don't particularly care. Look, I'm all for wanting to better yourself. And I said this plenty of times on this channel. I'm all for wanting to better yourself. I'm always trying to do better. That's just me. I want to do better too. But I'm not going to put somebody down if they're not on my level. Now, granted, if somebody's literally not doing anything, just being a bum and stuff and everything, and not trying, not doing anything, okay, then that's different. Nobody wants to be with a bum, male or female. Nobody wants to be with a bum. So that would be the only time I would judge, or if they're working in an industry that I'm uncomfortable with. But other than that, I don't care what anybody does. If you're making your money the right way, legally the right way, and appropriately and stuff, I don't care. I really don't care. We can all build on things together and stuff. Yeah, it takes, obviously, will I try to push you to try to do, seek better for yourself? Yes, but I'm not going to put you down. I'm not going to put you down at that if what you want to do is in your comfort zone. Because getting out of your comfort zone is hard. And if you're not trying, if you're just literally not trying, is one thing. But if If what you got right now, you're comfortable with what you got now, who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? That's not me. That's not me, and stuff. I've gotten into plenty of arguments with people on this topic. I had some people change the ways after an argument, change their ways. Some people are still stuck in their ways when it comes to this and stuff and everything. Like, no, like, here's also another thing. Job job can't make you. A job cannot make you, and bills cannot break you. That's what I've learned. A job cannot make you, and bills cannot break you. It's what you do with your life. I feel like I could be a little bit better at my success, but I feel like I'm successful. I have an education. I have a job. I have my own place and stuff. Like what else more? Like what else more can I prove in my life and my success? Now I don't want to contradict myself by saying, job can't make me, bills can't break me, and stuff and everything. But I feel like I'm doing just your typical normal person who's gone to school, who's working hard to get a roof over their head, and stuff and everything. But you know what? It makes me successful in my own way. I'm not saying I'm the most successful person in the world, and honestly, realistically, I don't care to be. I'm doing what I need to do to survive, and I'm doing it the right way. So I just wish like Marissa would like cut him some grace and everything. Now she did half-ass apologize to him about how she's been making him feel and stuff. And then they go back to Marissa and Edward go. I guess she has this apartment in New York as well. She shows him around the apartment. He's playing with this like digital trash can or whatever, and then they go to bed. I guess they had some good makeup rendezvous. And the next day rolls around and Marissa's finally going back to work. Remember, she works at that little bride shop called Kleinfeld, where that other TLC show Say Yes to the Dress is filmed. So she takes Edward on walk to the job, and Edward walks in, and he's basically like a celebrity. All Marissa's coworkers are hugging on him, happy to meet him and stuff and everything. Like there was like a little bridal party that was there, like trying on their dresses and stuff and everything. And yeah, Edward wishes him all, but then he had to leave while she had to go to work. And she was like, don't get lost in New York. So he's like, I'm not, you gotta have to really work your way around New York. So Edward leaves and takes a nice little walk around the town of New York, and he's just in awe. Like, this is crazy. This is big. And like, he felt like he wasn't the only Dominican there. So I'm glad Edward's out enjoying his time. Now they both been taking to social media, like defending their actions and stuff and everything. Edward says Marissa is like the best thing ever and everything. And I'm glad to hear that. I really am. I really don't like how this is being edited, to be honest with you. I do know a lot of it is produced. I do know like the situation with when he was talking to Marissa's mom a couple weeks ago, that a lot was unsaid during that conversation. Well, not unsaid, left unaired during that conversation. I am aware of that and stuff. So, but still, like the editing is just not making Marissa look good, and this is why I have a lot of opinions on the matter. So yeah, that was Marissa and Edward. The next couple I want to talk is Mallory and Raj. So Mallory and Raji, last week we all know was the big bidet fight over money. So after thinking about it and seeing somebody else comment about this, why go to a bidet store to pay for a big $800 to $1,000 bidet where you can get a decent one for $25 to $50 on Amazon? That was a good point. So in this episode, we seen Raj actually have a bidet, and Mallory had ordered him one for $25 off of Amazon. At first, he thought it was cheap, and she was like, "No, this ain't cheap. This is affordable." So he was using it. I guess it will do. It's gonna have to do. If it gets the job done, it gets the job done. So he's doing that. Mallory is planting some numbers, saying that she wants Raj to understand her monthly payments of a house and how it is to live in America. So she writes down a list of all her bills, every single bills, from cable internet to the mortgage to the light bill to groceries, everything. And Raj was just like, no, but he's still wanting to send her to try to send money back to the parents because remember, his parents are still in intent, so they're still trying to figure out how to do that. And it doesn't seem like she really wants to. Like every time that he talks about it, she actually just rolls her eyes about it. So then they're talking about that, and then Mallory comes up with the brilliant idea to Raj of wanting to get a prenup, and she had to explain to Raj that what a prenup is that, okay, look, I had this house before I met you. I had my settlement money before I met you. So if we break up in 20 years, like, I still have that. And he's like, wait, that ain't ours? And she's like, nope, it's just all mine. And so they get into a big argument over that. And Ross was just like, I'm here. I don't care about your freaking contract. I'm here for love and marriage, and you're here for a contract. And she's like, okay, whatever, enjoy your shit. And they get into a big fight over that, and that's basically where we left off. So I was just like, you know what? I actually agree with Mallory on this, because just basically on how Rosh sounds. He says that he doesn't want her money. He's one of those people that he says he don't want her money, but then he wants her money. I know a lot of people like that. A lot of people would ask. I remember when I was single on the dating apps, I always would have on my dating apps, please do not ask for money. Please do not. If you ask for money, I'm blocking you and stuff and everything. And I had a few people who would start talking to me, and we would talk about that, and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want your money. I don't want your money." And then literally in the next sentence, "Can you help me?" I'm like, "You just say you don't want my money." And they'd be like, "I don't want your money, but can you please help me?" That means you want my money. You need my money. So Raj just strikes me as that type of person. So I actually see why Mallory brought up the prenup and stuff on that. I'm gonna check off Mallory. I've been on Raj's side for the most part. In the beginning, but this one I'm taking Mallory's side, because he's really not understanding that this is not Turkey. This is not Turkey, where the cost of living is probably a little bit cheaper than it is here and stuff. So he's just going to have to understand that. And so I just wonder his intention. Now, I also saw a rumor that they actually are not together and that he actually is back in Turkey. I don't know if that's official. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed and stuff and everything, but I heard that rumor. And also, heading back to Marissa and Edward, Marissa, from what I heard, Marissa actually got fired from her job at Kleinfeld, and she has her own little business now and stuff. And this is allegedly, this is not official, but allegedly, I heard a rumor that she got fired because of that. You remember on when we first met Marissa on episode 1, she was talking about Edward's circumcised male area, and she was talking about it on work grounds. And basically, they let her go because of that. You can't talk about that stuff on work grounds because that's not a good look for the company, and that's inappropriate on the job. So that's basically sexual harassment and stuff. So again, that's allegedly what I heard. I'm not saying that's official, but that's allegedly. But back to Mallory and Raj. So yeah, they got into that fight over the prenup, and that's where we left off. So that was Mallory and Raj. The next couple I want to talk is Shay and Annabelle. So Shay and Annabelle. Last week we left off because upset because we still have Nicole's stuff in his shed. This episode we seen Shay put her dining room table like on the market and basically take her couch out to the dump. And he said Annabelle has not spoken to him since that until he did that. So he does that. He goes back and talks to Annabelle, and Annabelle says, like, look, you need to completely break up with Nicole all around. Well, he was like, I don't know, babe, but we do have a child together and stuff and everything. And if we see her, I'm going to at least say hi to her and stuff. He's like, no. She's like, no, you need to. I feel like you still have feelings for her. You need to cut it off completely. And he's like, okay, I'll do that for you, baby, and stuff. But so they make up over that. And now we're getting ready because Shay's actually having a birthday. And he's turning 55, and he's having this little lake party or whatever, inviting a lot of his friends and all of his little girlfriends over so everybody can meet Annabelle and so he can get drunk. So while they were setting up for this lakefront party or whatever, and Annabelle got him and Annabelle got the tables and stuff and chairs ready and stuff and everything. Allison comes over and tries to do her thing, and when Allison came over, Shay told Annabelle to go inside so I could talk to Allison alone. And so he had a conversation with Allison. He's like, look, I did not like what you told Annabelle. Why did you talk to Annabelle without me? She's like, well, she came over here. And he was like, okay, yeah, but I feel like you should have just said, like, I need to have this conversation with my dad, like, at the house and stuff and everything. She's like, well, you don't tell the truth and stuff. I'm like, not every little thing in my life needs to be brought up the way you like to do it. We almost broke up because of you, actually. And she was like, no, you almost broke up because of yourself. And she's like, I don't know why he's blaming me. He doesn't tell the truth. I'm like, well, you know what? I actually agree with Shay on this one because Allison, as I said last week, she likes to stir the pot. She's a crap starter. So I'm glad he actually called her out on that. So now we have this party. Everybody's coming over. Everybody's meeting Annabelle. Annabelle's all, and all his friends. His friends come up and like get on the microphone and say happy birthday to him, but he was just like, thank you guys for my birthday, but thank you guys so much for being nice to Annabelle. She's so welcome here, this, and that. Annabelle was like, oh, thank you guys, I'm speechless, and everything. It was so cute. And so after that, Nicole made a comment to the producers like, Annabelle has not seen what a lake party is. She's about to see my dad drunk for the first time. So after that, Shay starts drinking and he starts flirting with this young girl, saying, oh, if I was 21, I'll be on this right now and everything. And Annabelle was just like, look, I know he's drunk, but I cannot live like this if he's just going to be drunk and flirting with girls. So yeah, Shay was just saying, the 21 in me would have gotten on this, and then he was like dancing with this young girl and stuff and everything right in front of Annabelle. I mean, Shay clearly got problems. He got problems, and yeah, he needs to quit drinking. He's 55 years old. He's a big man. This is not healthy. He's not in good shape. He's not healthy. And so he really needs to chill out. Annabelle is really looking after his best interests health-wise, not even just as a husband, but also health-wise. He's a big man. He keeps drinking. He's drinking a lot of beer and stuff and everything. And he's flirting with young girls and stuff in front of his woman and stuff. That's not a good look. That stuff is really going to do a lot of damage to you physically and mentally. So I see her point. I see her frustration. So he really needs to chill when it comes to that. Just saying. But yeah, that was Shay and Annabelle. And the last couple we're going to talk is Thomas and Paula. Yeah, I felt so bad. I did not know some of this stuff. So Thomas and Paula. So they started out, we left off last week with them arguing over closet space and her threatening to go back to Brazil. we're still in that little bit of an argument where, and Thomas is like, I'll take you to get some furniture. And she's like, no, it's not about the furniture. Like, I just want you to hear me. Like, I just want you to realize that we are different. I like some different stuff with it. I just need you to acknowledge some of this stuff. It's not like I just want all that stuff right now. Like, I do, but that's not what I mean right now. I just want you to hear me. And so she was crying, she was upset about that. And so Thomas is like, okay, you're right. I do acknowledge that, and I'm sorry. And so they kiss and made up from that. And then Thomas and Paula, they actually go to this like boat, this like this boat. I think it's like Queen Kim, no, Queen Mary or something like that. And they go on this ship where it was haunted. Something from an old war or whatever. I don't know if this is like a wedding destination spot or a honeymoon spot that they would have choose, but they went to meet the captain on this boat and whatever, and went through like this little brief haunted tour on this boat, and then they went outside and picked something outside. I really didn't understand that concept of that. But after that little weird boat tour, haunted boat tour, whatever that was, Thomas and Paula had an interesting conversation. This is what I did not know. So Thomas's parents are divorced, and Thomas's dad is remarried, and they have to obviously make separate trips and stuff so they meet the family. Well, apparently in the past, Thomas had met up with his mom and everything, and they had a good time meeting up with Tom. Paula met Thomas's mom, and when they met up, they had a good time. They were taking pictures and having a grand old time and stuff and everything. But when they went to go at first met Thomas's dad and Thomas's stepmom, that didn't go well because Thomas said that their divorce was not his parents' divorce was not pretty, so there's still a lot of animosity. So when they went to go meet the dad and the stepmom was so pissed when she saw the pictures of Paula and Thomas's mom. She's pissed about that. That I will have to agree that divorce was probably really messy. So Paula and Thomas are having a conversation about, well, do you think that they'll come to our wedding? And Thomas is like, I don't know. We're gonna have to go down there to try to do our best to make amends because I really want them to come. So they decided to fly down to Charlotte, North Carolina, to his dad's and his stepmom's farm, basically. And they were just praying that that everybody gets along this time, and things are not, there's no animosity between everybody. So they fly down to Charlotte. They go to and they go to his they go to the dad's farm. He also had like a little RV that they could stay in. And they get to the farm. The dad and the stepmom. The dad seemed pretty cool, but the stepmom, she gave me strong Karen vibes. She gave me Karen vibes. She was just like, "I'll be happy when they go." Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She's one of those. She's one of those people that she'll smile. She'll smile and then she'll say something ignorant and then she'll start smiling again. And so she's like a loose cannon basically. So they get down there and they give each other, everybody's hugging each other and whatever. And Thomas is dressed for farm life, but Paula wasn't. And they asked, "Are you dressed for farm life?" And they looked at, she is not dressed for farm life. And Paula's like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna go change. Just give me like 5 minutes and I'll get changed." So she's like, okay. So they go into the RV. They give a tour of the little RV of where they're gonna be staying. It's kind of small. It's definitely Paula's type. It was a small space, nice big bed. Everything was small, just like how Paula likes it, basically. They had a little like toilet tank that has to be like manually cleaned because it's in the RV. And she was like, "Can I just go in the woods?" And he was like, "No, I'll clean up your mess." She's like, "I don't want you to clean up my my mess and stuff." So she changes her clothes and she I don't know, something happened to my chair. So she changes her clothes, and she has these nice boots on for the farm, but she also has like a jean skirt on and a tank top. And the stepmom sees her. She's like, this is not farm clothing. She got a tank top and jean shorts. Okay, yes, the boots are great, but she got a tank top and jean shorts. Like, what the heck? And so Paula starts feeding the goats and the chickens and the goat and everything, and then like all the animals started chasing her. She was trying to feed them, and they just started chasing her. And so she tried, but yeah, like I said, and that's basically where we left off. But basically, like I said, she, the stepmom, I don't know. I didn't know much about her. I didn't get a good vibe. The dad seemed pretty cool, but the stepmom, yeah, she, I got the side eye on her now. Definitely got the side eye on her. So yeah, that was basically it. That was Thomas and Paula. And that was basically it, guys. We did not see Debbie and Mita in this episode. I thought we were, but we weren't. Yeah, that was basically it. That's the end of my review, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Reminder, next week on my 90 Day Fiancé recap, I'll still do mine's on here, but I'm also going to be on 90 Day Fiancé Honestly with Amy and B. I'll be on their podcast channel next week, so make sure I'll see you guys over there on that next week. And as for this week, I'll be back on tomorrow and Tuesday to recap The Last Resort. We got a lot to talk about with that as well. And yeah. All right, guys. Love you guys so much. Have a good one. I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. Happy 250 years to America. And hope everyone had a good 4th. Love you guys. Bye.